Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushaq, choose what really matters.
And the country that harbors this fear the most is the United States of America. For far too long, America has remained oblivious to Pakistan's shenanigans, or pretended to be oblivious to its support for the Taliban and several other terror outfits. Now the pressure to act is building on the US. American lawmakers are pressing the Biden administration to reassess its relationship with Pakistan. Some even want Washington to end all ties with Islamabad. This includes lawmakers from both sides, Republicans and Democrats. There are at least 9 of them. For 2 days, they confronted US Secretary of State Antony Blinken with a barrage of questions over America's inaction against Pakistan. What did they say? And how did Blinken respond? Here's a report.
And they are trying to somehow...
Pakistan has always been crucial to America's foreign policy on Afghanistan. In the 1980s, Washington relied on Islamabad to send weapons and funds to the Mujahideen. In the 1990s, it relied on Islamabad to initiate talks with the Taliban. And in the early 2000s, America used Pakistan's help to cripple the Taliban. Or at least, that's what the Pentagon believed it was doing. Pakistan took billions in military and economic aid from America, only to make the Taliban stronger. The Afghan debacle stands as testimony. There's mounting evidence to prove how Pakistan helped the Taliban take the throne in Kabul. Yet the Biden administration remains oblivious to Pakistan's double dealings. Now the pressure to act is building. American lawmakers cutting across party lines are pressing the Biden administration to punish Pakistan for its shenanigans in Afghanistan. This includes Congressmen Bob Menendez, James Risch, Marco Rubio, Ron Johnson, Mike Rounds, Chris Van Hollen, Joaquin Castro, Bill Keating, and Scott Perry. For 2 straight days, these lawmakers confronted the US Secretary of State Antony Blinken with a barrage of questions on Pakistan's role in Afghanistan. Congressman Joaquin Castro, a Democrat from Texas, asked Blinken to reassess America's relationship with Pakistan, given its long-time support for the Taliban.
Pakistan has harbored Taliban leaders and provided other forms of support to the group. As my colleague noted, Pakistan's leader cheered the Taliban taking over Afghanistan. Is it time for the United States to reassess its relationship with Pakistan and reassess its status as a major non-NATO ally?
Somebody in the White House has authority.
Republican Senator James Risch said that America needs to come to terms with Pakistan's role in the entire matter.
We also must understand Pakistan's role in this entire matter, as the chairman has alluded to. This is a difficult but important situation.
Republican Senator Marco Rubio said if a country like Pakistan remains an American ally, what chance does Washington have in confronting China?
There was an announcement today there'll be a meeting of the Quad fairly soon, which is a good development, except that in the Pacific region, if you're India, you're looking at this and saying, if the United States allowed Pakistan to unravel their standing, because the Pakistani role in all this, and I think multiple administrations are guilty of ignoring it, the Pakistani role in enabling the Taliban is ultimately a victory for those pro-Taliban hardliners in the Pakistani government. They have to be looking at this and saying, if the United States could have, a third-rate power like Pakistan unravel its aims, what chance do they have of confronting China? So I think this leaves us in a terrible situation.
Mr. Chairman.
For all their questions, Blinken's answer remained more or less the same. He constantly reiterated that the Biden administration would reassess its relationship with Pakistan.
And I think you're very right to point at the role that Pakistan has played throughout the past 20 years and even before. And it is one that is involved hedging its bets constantly about the future of Afghanistan. It's one that's involved harboring members of the Taliban, including the Haqqanis. This is one of the things that we're going to be looking at in the days and weeks ahead, the role that Pakistan has played over the last 20 years, but also the role that we would want to see it play in the coming years.
The statement may have come too little too late, but it reveals how the Biden administration is under pressure to act against Pakistan. It should also serve as a warning to Islamabad, who in its quest to use the Taliban against India may lose whatever little legitimacy it enjoys on the international stage. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, co-presented by Skoda. Kushaq, choose what really matters.